Here we have Mr. Houghton, my extremely lovely, talented, athletic 5-year-old by Gormley, who's out of a Malibu Moonline. And now I've put, I don't know, probably close to a half a dozen rides on Mr. Houghton, who we call Herb here. And the day before this ride, we did a flat ride in the ring. I had originally, without taking into account the change in weather, thought we would do a field ride yesterday or the day before this, but the temperature dropped like 30 degrees and it was super windy. So we stuck to the ring the day before this, but I did actually take him out and just sort of hack him around the field and walk around and walk down the driveway. And he was very good about that. So I knew at the end of the ride the day before this that he would come out today and be really good in the field. And he was. I mean, the horse is just spectacular. I think if anything, being out in the field probably gives them a little bit more adrenaline, I'm sure, because you're in a bigger, newer space and there's lots to see. And I just think that he moves so nicely. He makes such a gorgeous shape. This is really the type of horse that, if I just get to pick the type of horse that I personally enjoy riding, this is definitely that type. So, of course, we take our time warming up on the flat. I did pop him over logs at the end of the ride, but really the point of this ride wasn't to spend the whole ride jumping. It was really to give him an introduction to being ridden out in the field. And then the next time we go out there, I think that, we'll spend less time flatting at the beginning and we'll just get into the groove of jumping a little bit quicker. Actually, I was just happy that he was good enough on the flat that I felt like we could jump. And we did do that a little bit at the end, and he was very good. I just didn't want to information overload too much. And he was so good on the flat that I probably rode him a little bit longer than I needed to on the flat, but that's kind of what happens when I'm riding the type of horses that I just personally find so fun to sit on. I try to make sure that I'm not just looping the field. So I try to do some, rollback turns and diagonals and and make sure that I'm just making some shapes and I'm keeping it a little bit interesting. He was very good about the traffic going by. I was a little bit I was nervous about the traffic going by with him because honestly, he's just a more athletic type of horse, and if he did decide that he was going to spook and spin and drop a shoulder, he would do that pretty athletically, but he did not actually. He was very fantastic. I was spooking and he was not spooking. So this here is the sort of downhill slope of the hill that he's coming down right now. And I just thought, maybe he got slightly on his forehand down there at the bottom, and you saw he sort of opened his mouth when I had to rebalance him a little bit. But for the most part, I thought that he did a great job of sort of keeping his own balance and keeping the shape. And he uses his hind end so well. And then this is the uphill slope, and this is the fun part because you get to sort of just push and they feel great coming up the hill. So there I was asking for the right canter. Yeah, we were going to the right. He gave me the left, and it wasn't the most beautiful canter transition, but this was the first time I'd asked him to canter out here in the field, and not totally to be. I'm not shocked that his first canter transition he came up a little bit, totally fine. But he came up against the contact for a few strides, but no more than 2 or 3 strides. He came right back into the shape. He did a great job holding the counter canter, coming across the diagonal on the downhill slope part of the hill. Roll back to the left, and he just did a really lovely canter set. So I had no qualms about all of this. Excuse me. Thought he did a great job cantering down the hill there, and he just felt great. So then we sort of change direction, go back to the right. I think I asked him to canter maybe to the right one more time, and he didn't get the lead, and I just didn't really think that the purpose of today's first big ride out in the field was to argue with him about leads. So I stopped asking and I went back to the walk here and I thought, okay, well, hopefully we'll just get the lead going over the log. But because he hasn't been over any logs yet, I thought we better pause for a second and just make sure that we're comfortable just walking over the log. So we walked over it once each direction and he was really excellent about that. I like how he just sort of marched right up to it and did it right out of rhythm. So that was great. So then I felt comfortable and confident coming back around in the trot and asking for the right lead canter. I thought he jumped the log super cute, landed in a great right canter, so then we had a nice little loop to the right. Every time I watch a video of this horse going, it makes me happy because I just think he makes such a great shape, such a lovely style of going. He has such a fantastic canter. It's just super uphill, super organized. Really lovely coming down the hill here. I like how he's just, with very little effort from me, he did a great job of sort of just sitting down on his own hocks. And then lovely transition on the downhill, beautiful trot. Such a talented horse. So then we come back around to the log. He jumped it really cute again. This time he got the left lead, no big deal. He's so cute jumping his logs. I thought that was very good. He jumped it in a nice shape. That log, that's the spookiest log in the field. Billy stripped the bark off of it because it was sort of half falling off anyway. Something about that log having the bark not on it just really spooks all the horses. I thought that was very good to that little log down the slope. My own critique of myself watching this video back is I just got back from 2 days in Virginia riding with my friend Martha Wonder. And if you're in Virginia, I highly recommend going to her for help because she's fantastic. And she was getting after me about just needing to ride cross country in a way more forward canter, just sort of like all systems go, especially with these green horses because they have no clue what's going on. And we just need to instill that confidence in them. So I just came home from that and then I'm watching this ride that I did right before I left the other day. And I'm thinking to myself that I really needed to ride much more forward to those logs. In the trot, I thought that, he has a nice swinging trot. It's not like I was stifling him in the trot. But in the canter work to the logs, I really should have been putting the pedal way more to the metal and coming in a much more forward positive canter. So certainly that's what I'll be thinking about the next time that I'm jumping any green horse. I thought he was really cute here down this line. Lost the shoulder a little bit, but he kept coming, and then he actually jumped it pretty cute. Very good. So he lands on the right lead, which is, of course, the counter canter lead. But he did a great job of just holding that so balanced down the hill. I actually had thought that we would break back to the trot, but then I realized there was really no point because he was just having absolutely no difficulty holding this counter canter, which he held all the way around this next corner to the next log. Very good boy. He jumped that log really nicely, and then we had a little disagreement about which way we should turn after the log. And then we sorted it out, and then we ended with just a nice trot down the road here.